Hi, I am Pam Turbeville. I am a Norton School graduate long before it was called Norton. However, I am a very proud board member and enjoy being on the board and helping shape the school and attend events such as this. I am the retired Chief Executive Officer of Navistar Financial, so my world has been a little bit different than fashion and retailing, but I'm learning a lot by being here and enjoying it. I also have the enjoyable task of getting to introduce the next speaker. She, like many of you in the room actually, is a Westerner with a bachelor's from the University of Wyoming, followed by an MBA in finance from the University of Denver. Along the way, she's also done a lot of things outside of work, and she's done a lot of volunteer work with the Committee of 200, with the Botanical Gardens in Atlanta. She's also volunteered and been on some very impressive boards. She's not only on the UPS board, she's on the audit committee, and if you're in finance, I know some of you are, audit committees are not for the faint of heart after SOX. So I compliment you for that, as well as she's on the Federal Reserve Board of Atlanta, and she is the chairman of that board, a very big responsibility. Won't surprise you along the way, she's gotten a lot of honors, and I'm not going to go through all of her honors because they would take longer than her presentation. But if you've read Forbes, you've seen her on different 100 most powerful women list, Wall Street Journal Women to Watch. Some of her other honors have been by her peers. Last year, 2009, she was the Chief Financial Officer of the Year by the CFO Roundtable. So all the Chief Financial Officers voted her as the #1 person, and that's just a huge honor to have your peers recognize you like that. Another thread in her life is that she's also a very well-rounded business person. If you think about her being a retailer, she's had experience before Home Depot with companies that manufactured, supplied. She's obviously knows a lot about logistics from UPS and other things. And then just in 2007, she was named EVP of Corporate Services, where she not only had that whole basket of all of the financial services, but she had the real estate, store location, growth. She has strategy, kind of everything but like the kitchen sink, but I guess Home Depot, you could have the kitchen sink, so I don't know what else she has. I really like the fact that she does have strategy, and we have a lot of the Home Depot team in the audience today, and I've gotten to meet quite a few of them, and I give my thanks as a customer because I go in and I've watched the model change from where Home Depot, are you going to talk about the strategy a little bit? Awesome, because they got so big and they were doing so many things, and perhaps the old customer that really went in to try to fool the person in the orange apron wasn't quite as knowledgeable, and now you can go back in, you can ask your crazy questions, and for me, Home Depot's really back, and I enjoy that, and I thank the Home Depot team for that. There is so much more that I could say, but I am standing between you and a dynamic, fun, great speaker, Carol Tome from Home Depot. Please give her a just warm Western welcome. Yay.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Pam. What Pam didn't tell you, although she shared with you my entire life, what she didn't tell you is that we used to work together.
Yes.
Isn't this fun? It's great. It's really.
I was a fan. I've been a fan for decades, and I won't tell you how long. Bye-bye.
Well, it's great. It's fabulous to be here, and we do have a lot of Home Depot people here, which is fabulous too. So thank you for letting us all come. We're delighted to be here. And you know, this morning's been terrific. We've heard about fashion and beauty from Terry and Claudia, and now we get to move to hammers and nails. But I promise you, I'll do my best to make the story of Home Depot as exciting and as glamorous. Well, I'll try. So, I'm going to start today by talking about innovation through a downturn, and I do have some prepared remarks, but I'm going to leave plenty of time at the end for your questions because I would really like this to be a dialogue. Now, as Terry talked about, you know, we've just come through the worst recession since the Great Depression, and it was caused by a housing and a financial crisis. For Home Depot, we felt it first, and we felt it hard. Consider this, in 2006, our comps or our same-store sales started to turn negative. And from 2006 to 2009, we lost $13 billion of sales. Now, to put that in perspective, that's more sales than Avon generated in 2009. Now, as the market contracted, not only did we lose sales, but we also lost operating profit. Our operating profit declined by more than $4 billion. So it's been a really interesting time at our company. But I don't really want to talk about the downturn. What I want to talk about is what we did to manage through the downturn, to innovate the downturn. It really starts with a strategy. You know, when we opened our first 4 stores 31 years ago, our company was founded on a 3-legged stool of price, selection, and service. And that 3-legged stool strategy served us very well for the first couple of decades of our company's history. Then from 2000 to 2006, we started to add more strategic legs to our stool by entering businesses that were non-core to the Home Depot. We bought waterworks companies, we bought utility companies, we bought wholesale distribution. Now, typically, when you add more legs to a stool, you add stability to the stool. But what happened to us, because we lost our focus on the core, we actually caused our stool to wobble. In fact, it almost toppled. But luckily, when the housing market started to contract, we sold off those non-core businesses and refocused our efforts on the core. So today, our 3-legged stool strategy is one that's reflective of a mature retailer. It's reflective of who we are as a company. And if you've read Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, you will recognize the 3 legs of our stool. What we're deeply passionate about, what we can be best in the world at, and what drives our economic engine. Now, I say there's no company, no retailer that's more passionate about its customers than the Home Depot. So for us, the first leg of our strategic stool is the customer. Bless you. At Home Depot, product is the hero. So the second leg of our strategic stool is product authority. We're the best in the world at product. And then the third leg of the stool, what drives our economic engine, well, it's all about productivity and efficiency driven by effective capital allocation. I'll talk more about this in a moment, but very early in our lives, our economic engine was driven by new square footage growth. Pretty typical for retailers. In fact, earlier in our lives, we were like that Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams, build a store and they will come. Well, the United States is pretty much saturated from a home improvement retailing perspective, so our economic engine is no longer driven by square footage growth, but capital allocation. Now, that foundation, focusing on the core, is what we believe helped us navigate through this downturn. We also took our company's energy, over 300,000 of us, and focused on 3 major areas. We faced into reality, we built a mountain of cash, and we became aggressive in the marketplace. And I'd like to share with you a little bit more color on each of these. First, facing into reality. When we think about our industry, we look at a number of economic indicators to determine the health of our industry. And we look at housing starts, housing turnover, consumer confidence, unemployment. You name it, we look at it. But the economic indicator that we are most tightly correlated with is private fixed residential investment as a percent of GDP. And if you look at this chart, the orange line represents the change in private fixed residential investment. The black line represents our comps or same-store sales. And you can see how tightly the lines fit together. That means there's a strong correlation. In fact, the R² is north of 0.9. So we know this is a very good indicator of our business. Now, there's been a tremendous amount of contraction in private fixed residential spending as a percent of GDP. In fact, it's fallen from a high of 6.25% in 2006 to a low of 2.4% in 2009. When our business started to soften, we had some early indication that it was going to shrink. And so we started to build that contraction in our industry into our financial forecasts. I must tell you, however, we didn't realize how far it would fall. In fact, we had a saying in our company during the downturn: bad doesn't feel good until worse happens. And things got worse and worse and worse. But we faced into this reality. We realized that our business was going to continue to contract and that we needed to make some very hard decisions. We needed to make some very tough choices. And we did that. We reduced our square footage growth. As I mentioned before, we were a company, build a store and they will come. At one point, we were opening a store every 48 hours. Well, we slowed our square footage growth. In 2009, we opened 13 stores. And this year in 2010, we'll open just 6 stores, only 1 in the United States, the other 5 in Mexico. We closed 15 stores. Now, for some retailers, closing stores is part of their operating model. We had never closed a store in our life. But we looked at our underperforming stores and we said, these stores, the value of exiting the stores is higher than the value of operating the stores. So we made a very tough choice to close stores. We exited our Expo business. And if any of you know Expo, it was a design center concept. The stores were beautiful. We just didn't make any money. We had about $1 billion of sales, but we were losing about $50 million a year. So we made the hard decision to exit that business. We made the hard decision to shrink our support staff. We eliminated 2,000 support staff functions, including 10% of our officer base. So we made some very hard decisions to rationalize the business during the downturn. These were choices that we made so in turn we could invest in our business, and invest we did. We started in the downturn a transformation of our supply chain. Our company grew up with a direct-to-store model where the majority of the merchandise was shipped directly from the supplier to our stores. In our early days, that worked really well. We didn't have that many stores, and the stores were very high volume. We have over 2,200 stores today, stores that range in sales volume from $12 million a store to north of $100 million a store. That direct-to-store model doesn't work very well. And think about it if you supply us, and some of our suppliers are here today, think about if you supply us receiving over 2,000 purchase orders from stores. Very inefficient. So we started to transform supply chain, moving to what we call our rapid deployment center. It's really a consolidation. We don't carry inventory in our distribution centers, but we consolidate shipments from the suppliers through the rapid deployment centers and then consolidate shipments out to the stores. At the end of 2009, we had 12 RDCs up and running, servicing about 66% of our store base. We'll open another 7 RDCs this year, and by the end of the year, we'll serve 100% of our US stores. So during the downturn, we started to invest. During the downturn, we focused on the right prices, great service, great prices, great products, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. And most importantly, during the downturn, we had the words of one of our founders, Bernie Marcus, ringing in our ears. Bernie said, if you take care of the associates, they'll take care of the customers, and the rest will take care of itself. So during the downturn, we continued to pay merit increases. We continued to make contributions into our 401k program. We paid record bonuses. We invested in our associates during the downturn. We're a values-based business, and we operate on an inverted pyramid. And by that, Frank Blake, our CEO, the leadership team, we're at the bottom of the pyramid. Our associates and our customers are at the top of the pyramid. We really believe in this servant leadership model. We have a program in our company called Success Sharing. And with Success Sharing, our hourly associates can share in the success of our stores if the store hits a targeted sales number. In 2009, in the back half of the year, 93% of our stores were in Success Sharing. And we paid $34 million more in Success Sharing in 2009 than we did in 2008. And in 2008, we paid $30 million more than we did in 2007. We really believe in taking care of our associates, and it's paying off, and I'll share that with you in just a moment. Now, the second area of our focus was to build a mountain of cash. And it started with inventory, and this was a true team effort. As a team, we were able to take $500 million of inventory out of our company last year. And we did it while at the same time improving our in-stock rate. Now this is critically important because retailers can go out of inventory pretty quickly, right? But they run out of stock. And when you don't have the product in your stores, you cap your sales. So we reduced our inventory and improved our in-stock rate. That's pretty cool. And if you look at our inventory turnover, despite the fact that last year alone our sales declined by $5 billion, our inventory turnover ratio improved by 1/10. Now you might say, oh, 1/10, why are you shouting about that? Well, this is the first time in 10 years where we showed an improvement in inventory turnover. So we felt pretty good about inventory, and inventory is a big consumer of cash. Look at that, we've got over $11 billion, or almost $11 billion in inventory. So excellent job here. We did put every penny of capital spending through a knothole, and we just generated a lot of cash. Last year, before spending, we generated over $5 billion of cash. So if you look at this financial snapshot of our company, at the end of 2009, you can see that we had more cash, we had less debt, we had more equity, and less leverage. From a CFO's perspective, this snapshot is a beautiful thing. And I can't say enough about cash. People who know me, I can't. People who know me know that I always say cash is king, or actually queen in my case. We love the cash. Now, the third thing we did is become aggressive in the marketplace. And this is risky, becoming aggressive in a marketplace that's down. A lot of companies were hunkering down. We became aggressive. About a year and a half ago, we launched a new marketing campaign. Can you believe this? We took our old tagline of "You can do it, we can help," and we morphed it into a new tagline, "More saving, more doing." Now, our old tagline, "You can do it, we can help," was a great tagline. It had huge unaided awareness. We loved it, but it was missing something very important. It was missing a value message, the value proposition. And value is something that customers were really looking for. So we introduced the new tagline, "More saving, more doing." We introduced a call to action in our marketing, and I'll share with you later, it's really paying off. So if we could, I've got an ad I'd like to run for you. If we could run that ad.
As long as we're winding up our doing dials, let's wind them with precision. Open our throttle to even more selection and turn that saving swagger up full tilt. So when the time comes to bust open a can of doing, we've got all the tools for all the things we need to make them happen. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get Scott's and Naturescapes mulch for the new lower price of just $3.88.
So did you sense the value in that ad? Did you sense the call to action? There's even the music makes you want to get up. It makes you want to go in the garden and work. And it really does. And the important thing about the campaign, it's not just a campaign. We have lowered prices. We have a focus-based portfolio approach. Through a focus-based portfolio approach, we were able to lower prices on hundreds of items across our store. In fact, if you look at the economic value that we've created for our customers, and I hope you're all shopping in our stores, but if you look at the economic value that we've created for you, it's over $500 million by lowering prices year over year. So we are standing tall with the value proposition that we're offering with more saving, more doing. Now, during this downturn, our merchants did a fabulous job of bringing in new product. And I could talk all morning about new product, but I want to share a couple of new products with you this morning. First, I want to talk about paint. Now, when you think about paint, you say, well, what's innovative with paint? It's water, it's titanium dioxide, and it's a dye. What's innovative about paint? Well, what we did with paint is we revolutionized paint by putting a paint and primer in one can. You're nodding your head. Have you used it? I love you for using that paint. This line of paint, the Bear line, is exclusive to the Home Depot. And the Premium Plus Ultra Paint is a fabulous paint and primer in one can. Now, if you've ever painted a room, particularly a dark color, without a primer, you know it doesn't work. Or if you've ever just primed a room, you know what a pain in the rear that is. So having it together in one can, it just saves so much time. And it's fabulous with dark colors. Our customers have just jumped on this. And in fact, Paint was our best performing department in 2009. Basically, it was flat from a sales perspective. That's tremendous when you think about how the industry contracted. We also now sell samples in our stores, so you can buy the samples, and rather than taking a little paint chip home and trying to figure out how to paint your wall, you can take a little sample home and try it out, and if you like it, you can come back and buy the paint. So we love paint. Can't say enough good things about paint. And one more thing about Behr, #1 from a consumer rating perspective. Here's another innovative product that our merchants introduced, and it's really cool. Anyone ever tiled, put a backsplash up, put a countertop tile down? What a pain that is. You have to work the grid, you gotta put the glue down, it's a real pain. Well, our Simple Mat tiling set is simply that. It's a mat that you apply, it's got the adhesive, it's got a grid, and then you simply put the tiles on. The tile's set up, you put the grout on top, you're done. Love it? Love it. This is an innovative product. It is. Now, this isn't a product, but we're very excited about our exclusive relationship, at least in the home improvement industry, with Martha Stewart. And I know, Terry, you've had one at Macy's for a while. We love Martha. Martha's bringing to our stores a sense of beauty and style that we didn't have. So if you're in the stores today, you'll see Martha Stewart branded product in cleaning, and outdoor patio furniture, and storage and organization, and we're just getting started. And we are just getting started. We introduced Martha's products into our stores in January, and while it's early, we're really pleased with the sales. In fact, if you're looking for new patio furniture, we've got some great Martha's patio furniture in our stores at fabulous price points, $3.99 for a great set. So if you want some patio furniture, go now, because it's selling fast. So our merchants have done a really nice job in driving innovation in a downturn, and that's what it's all about. But it's not just about the product, it's about the service that we provide in our stores. So we made a commitment to invest in our associates through training in the downturn. And we trained all 300,000 of our associates, including all of the leadership team, on FIRST, which is our new customer service proposition. And you can see what the acronym means if you look at the chart. It's very simple. Find the customer, inquire about what they're working on, respect them, solve their problem, and thank them. Everyone's been trained on FIRST. And then we've gone and done a deep dive training on aspects of FIRST. We've just trained our front end on FIRST. So now if you're in the stores, listen to this. If you're in the store, we have a 10% price guarantee. So if you find something at a competitor, we'll meet that price and knock 10% off. If you're at the front end and you're talking to our cashier and you say, I found this product at a competitor and it was a less price, that cashier is empowered to take the markdown if the markdown doesn't exceed $50 without getting approval. Now, isn't that cool? The cashier can take the markdown at the POS. We are focused on customer service. We are, through the downturn, we're starting to innovate a company that's 31 years old. The definition of innovation is beginning anew. And I think we're beginning anew. Look at this. This is our customer satisfaction metric. We hear from over 100,000 customers every week. And they tell us how we're performing on a number of attributes. And we look at one metric very closely, and that's what we call our Net Promoter Score, where we take the number of customers who rate us a 9 or above, and we subtract from that the number of customers who rate us a 6 or below. And that comes up with a Net Promoter Score. It's essentially a satisfaction index. And if you look at our Net Promoter Score, month after month, we're higher than last year. In fact, we're about 800 basis points higher than last year. We're near 70%. So our customers who are shopping in our stores, they're telling us they're more satisfied with their experience. If you look at how we grew the business, we took share. Even though the industry was contracting, we took share in 2009. We grew our market share by 100 basis points. This is based on census data. 100 basis points for a company of our size, that's a lot of market share to gain. And it's also notable that we gained it on fewer stores. So our store base was smaller and we gained share. In the fourth quarter of 2009, we reported a positive comp sale. The first time since May of 2006. Industry contracting, we grew sales. It's pretty exciting. First time since May of 2006. So as we look out for 2010, hey, we said our sales are going to increase. Can you imagine on an earnings call saying we're guiding up rather than guiding down? It's a very exciting time. We're guiding up. And where the sun is shining, Business is good. Finally, in January, we announced a 5% increase in our dividend. This was the first time we increased our dividend since 2006. And this is a real strong affirmation of the confidence that we have in our business. You know, our dividend is one of the most attractive aspects of our stock because our payout and our yield is one of the highest in retail. So there's a lot of momentum at the Home Depot. Many companies said they survived the downturn. I say we thrived. And with that, I'd really, again, like to thank you for inviting me here. It's been just such a treat to be here with you all, and I'd love to take your questions. There's one in the middle. I think we've got some roving mics, or you can just yell.
Hi, with reduction in capital spending and less stores, you probably have to make the stores that you have more efficient. And you talked about the innovation with the different, with Martha, et cetera, but how about the core of your store? Where are you going towards making that more efficient? Are you optimizing SKUs, getting customer insights on that? Just any general comments around that?
Yeah, there's so much activity going inside the stores, and I only had a few minutes to talk to you this morning, but we're really excited about what's happening. From just a SKU rationalization perspective, we've rationalized about 7% of our SKUs out of our stores. So, and that's something that we will continue to focus on, simplifying the assortment for our customers. Our customers tell us, you know, give me a simple solution. We are not an item retailer, we are a project retailer. So there's a real focus on providing simple solutions. There's a real focus on serving a customer who makes up just 4% of our transactions, but 30% of our sales, and that's the professional contractor. So we have a dedicated pro desk inside of our stores. We have associates who have managed accounts to manage those professional contractors. A ton of effort underway to make that customer feel special and to meet his or her needs through will call, delivery, discounted pricing, et cetera. A lot of effort going on there. A lot of effort going on just in terms of the use of technology to drive efficiency. For example, in our vault, every store had a vault. We were counting the cash in every vault every day. Well, you know what happens when the cash deposit goes to the bank? The bank counts it, the bank wins. And we're like, well, what the heck? So we took all those hours out of the vault and put them back on the selling floor. So we've done a lot in terms of taking tasking out of the store and putting it back on the selling hours. We've got power hours in our store. If you're in the stores from 10 to 2 every day, there is not a task happening in our store. Everyone's on the floor. I mean, everyone's on the floor serving. Then all day Saturday, all day Sunday. People come up to us and say, you've added more labor. No. We just took people away from tasking and put them on the floor to serve the customer. There's a huge effort underway to enhance our e-commerce. And if you go on site, you can see that our website has been totally redone, and we're just getting started. You know, a lot of what we had to do was table stakes, quite candidly, but we're going to take it up a notch because we know so many home improvement ideas start at home. When people go online, they dream, and then they come into the store to shop. So a lot going on inside the core. Think about this. A lot of companies talk about growth. And they talk about growth through product extension, new companies you might acquire, new geographies you might enter. For us, all we want to do right now is recapture the $13 billion that we lost. Think about that. Recapturing the $13 billion that we lost takes our sales per square foot from $279 to close to $340 a square foot. That's pretty growthy, and that's really exciting, and we'll do it with what we're doing inside the stores. Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about your mobile technology enablement initiative for associates?
Yeah, the biggest capital expenditure that we have this year is what we call mobility, or for the stores, it's called First Phone. And we are very excited about this because no retailer will have it. It's basically a handheld device that not only will allow you to sequence a bay, you can do anything you want to do with the product, be it a price change. If you need to order the product, you can do it with the First Phone. Anything that you might have done, we do have mobile carts where a lot of that activity takes place. It's all going to be in a handheld device. The handheld device is also a communication device. So you can call someone and say, hey, Carol's coming, you know, we've got a customer, we got to meet her in appliances, so we can make sure that we kind of hook up the customer with the associate. You can check out with the device. So I'm not very comfortable on the front end, I have to tell you. I'm like, if I were over and short on a register, that would be bad. So I'm not really comfortable using the front end, but I can take the handheld and I can check somebody out, walk them over to our self-checkout, they can pay and be on their way. So we've got it in pilot right now. We'll start our rollout, and we'll be done with the rollout third quarter of this year. It's going to be really cool.
We have another question right here.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you tell us a little bit about eco options and how that has helped fill a need for your customers?
Right. Well, of course, all of us are concerned about the environment. We all want to find ways to lower the cost of heating or cooling our homes. We want products that are safe in our homes. And so we launched Eco Options a number of years ago to bring in environmentally friendly products. And we've decided that that's how we're going to stand for green. Since we're not opening a lot of new stores, we can't really work on LEED certified buildings because our stores are pretty much built. But what we can do is bring in products that customers want. And we're seeing great receptivity from our customers on the Eco Options line. And it goes broader than just what we're offering, but sustainability too. So when we think about our corporate gifting, we have a foundation. And part of our corporate gifting is all about sustainability, replanting forests. You know, we sell a lot of lumber in our stores, replanting forests, et cetera. So the customers are responding to it well, and we're going to continue to grow that.
Carol, thank you
Yes.
very much for a fast-paced and informative presentation. Kingfisher in Europe over the past year have transitioned to communicating with the person who did the work, the man, to the person who appreciated it the most and probably influenced it, the woman. So considering that women are the only customer, how do you now communicate directly with the woman, although she may not be the person who walks into your store and actually buys something?
Well, interestingly, the question is about demographics inside your stores and how do you go after women or men customers. Interestingly, our CRM, and our CRM isn't that robust, but our CRM tells us that 50% of our customers are women today. And we also know from customer research that typically home improvement projects they start at home, influenced very much by females, and couples come in to shop. So there's a lot of things that, it's a lot of rumors out there that perhaps we're not female friendly. We are absolutely female friendly. I will tell you though, from a fashion perspective, and oh, by the way, fashion, I just have to point out, this jacket came from Macy's and my lipstick came from Avon. I had to point that out before I left. From a fashion perspective, we know we have some opportunities there. We know that. And one reason for bringing Martha Stewart into our company is because we believe she's fashion forward. I had the opportunity to spend a day with Martha, and Gordy Erickson, who's our senior vice president over Softlines, was with me. And I was so impressed by her design team. She can bring beauty to things that we didn't even think of. So we're very excited about that.
Okay, next. I have a question for you.
Yes.
When you took your strategy to go back into your stores and do lower prices, did you do anything in the way of predictive analytics, much like Macy's did to draw a correlation between Clinique and earrings? Did you do anything to evaluate how that lower price could drive your basket to a higher value, therefore regaining some of your lost margin?
We absolutely did. There are many things that we did as we thought about how to lower prices. First, we got off of the empty calorie sale drug, where we were promoting too much and actually basically giving the product away or paying the customers to take the product away. So we stopped a lot of the promotions that were actually hurting our price proposition. Then we looked at, and we have a relationship just like Macy's with dunnhumby. We did a lot of analytical analysis to say what attaches to what. And we realized that, for example, lumber is a project starter, right? You're not just going to sell a 2x4, you're going to sell attachments to that 2x4. So understanding the attachments allowed us to then target our price reductions where we knew that the project would actually be margin neutral or margin accretive. And I will tell you, while we dropped prices on hundreds of products, our gross margin last year grew. And we are projecting that our gross margin will grow in 2010. So the analytics, this is the science of retail, which I love. The analytics really help drive margin expansion and great value for our customers. Sure.
Another analytics question to follow up on that. As you went to the customer service training, the first program, did you change the way you were measuring performance of the associates in the store as they now have more of a service focus? And has that been able to be correlated into a higher sale from those individuals?
every store gets their customer service ratings, which is very important. And inside the store, they focus more on likelihood to recommend than they do the Net Promoter Score, because Net Promoter Score is calculated. Likelihood to recommend is just a single point score. And so the store managers are here today. They would tell you just like that what their customer service metric is. We rack and stack based on how the performance is in the stores. Part of our compensation is based on 70% is based on financial, 30% is based on non-financial. So there's a way to award people financially based on the non-financial piece, which would be a customer service aspect. Well, that's great. I can't see you all, so I don't know if there are any more questions, but.
One more.
Okay.
With the inventory reduction you guys did, how did you obtain the higher in-stock levels?
Team effort. We introduced new tools inside of our stores. You can imagine, I'm sure it's hard to believe, given the size of our company, our technology and our tools, well, we're probably 20 years behind most other retailers. And so we started introducing new tools, which really enabled us to be much better from a planning perspective. We have 13 selling departments. We used to plan sales, inventory, gross margin by department, by month. That's not very granular. We took it down by class, by week. Now we're going by day. And just having better forecasts is enabling us to do a better job in terms of inventory management. We had some historical perspectives on inventory that we needed to work through. In the old Home Depot, it was stack it high, watch it fly. And you walk in, right? And you walk in, you had inventory piled up 16 feet. And it was, people thought, I'm in stock. Well, no, you just had too much inventory. So we had to get sort of everybody culturally accepting that it's okay to take the inventory levels down. And in fact, if you're in the stores today, the inventory levels are down, and yet you can see the shelves are full. We just don't have so much in the overheads. And we don't need to have so much in the overheads because we're transforming our supply chain. So again, it was a real team effort. The pack down efforts by our store associates, fantastic. We have a new merchandising execution team where we insourced the people who are maintaining our bays. That's one reason why the stores look so much better, because we've got people who are really every day working on maintaining the bays. And as they're maintaining the bays, they can maintain the in-stock as well. So a real team effort. Yes, sir.
First of all, congratulations. It's great to see a CFO that it's funny and good, delivering a message.
Well, thank you.
And my second question is, or my question it is, you mentioned this year you're going to open 6 stores, 5 south of the border. How are your international strategies paying off? And do you see a difference when you do business, same company, but different country?
Yeah, the beautiful thing about home improvement is that it does translate borders. So we are the largest home improvement retailer in Canada. We've been in Canada since the mid-90s. We have about 200 stores in Canada. We're the largest home improvement retailer in Mexico. We have about 80 stores in Mexico, and we want to have 100 stores in Mexico. We love our business in Mexico. We were in South America, the latter part of the last decade. We were in Chile and Argentina. We didn't make any money there. We went in with the wrong strategy. So we exited those countries, but we're very interested in those countries. So we keep our eyes on the strategic opportunities. We also have businesses in China. We have 10 stores in China. We went in with an acquisition 3 years ago. What an incredible opportunity in China. We just don't understand the customer yet. So you got to understand your customer, right? That's always a good, all strategy starts with the customer. So we haven't figured it out. So we're not making any money in China yet. We're not really losing any money. We're just kind of not making any money. So we got to figure that out. And once we figure that out, we want to grow in China because, my goodness, the opportunity is huge. As we look at the rest of the world, candidly, not too excited. The gentleman asked about Kingfisher. We're very, very good friends with Kingfisher. And we want Kingfisher just to have their business in Europe. We don't want to go to countries where the population is shrinking, like Italy. So we're not really interested in any other place other than where we are, and potentially South America. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Have a great day.